What if I told you that you could generate a fully SEO-optimized blog post, complete with AI-generated images and metadata, and publish it across every major social media platform, completely on autopilot? In this video, I'll walk you through the powerful N8N automation I built, what I call the Autonomous Content Engine. It pulls keyword data from Airtable, uses AI to write long-form content, creates images, fills out all your metadata, and then blasts it to Instagram, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, and more, all without lifting a finger. If you're into automation, content marketing, or AI workflows, this is going to blow your mind. The first step starts right here in Airtable. This is the content brain of the entire system. I've created a simple base where I input keywords or search phrases that I want blog posts to be built around. These could be niche topics, SEO terms, or trending ideas, whatever you want to rank for. Once these are in place, the automation kicks in, grabs the keywords, and begins the entire blog generation process from there. Let me show you how I've set up the Airtable base, because this part is very important. It's where the entire automation begins. Basically, here in Airtable, all you need to do is enter your search phrases, the keywords you want to build content around. You can add just one or drop in 100 at once. The automation will handle the rest and run on the interval you set. Totally hands-free after that. Now, aside from the keyword, there are a few more settings you'll need to configure for each row. Blog URL, the full URL of your blog. You can set your default one here. Blog category ID. You can find this by editing a category in your WordPress admin. It's right in the URL at the top. The same as before, you can set default values. Author ID. Same thing. Just go to the user section, click your name, and you'll see the ID in the URL. Word count. How long you want the blog post to be. Keep in mind, if you're going for high word counts, you'll want to use a more powerful LLM like GPT-4 or Claude. Image ratio and image processor. I've got two options built in, OpenAI and Replicate. This generates the featured image dynamically for each post. You'll also see two columns called Promo Affiliate URL 1 and 2. Here you can paste in any links you want to promote. The automation will smartly include them in the blog content. Next, there are two image URL columns. If you already have image links you want to use, drop them in here. You will see soon how nice the images will blend in the blog post. Now, from here on, we get into the output columns. These are all set to long text format and will be automatically filled by the automation. Related searches, blog title, blog content, meta description, blog slug, excerpt, SEO image title, alt text, caption, and description. Featured thumbnail, final URL. I also have a blog posted column with just two options, yes or no. Once a blog is published, it switches to yes. Then I've got columns for each social platform, Instagram, X, LinkedIn, personal end page, Facebook, Threads, and Pinterest. Each one stores the actual post content that will be shared. Finally, there's a created time column and a status column. Status can be either in progress or published. And here's the key part. If the status is published, the automation skips that row and moves to the next one automatically. Super simple, super powerful. Now, let me show you a quick demo. I'm going to drop in some fresh search phrases. You can add as many as you want, and based on your set schedule, the automation will start creating and posting content automatically. It usually takes around 2 to 3 minutes to fully complete a blog post, including generating the content, images, SEO metadata, and scheduling posts across all platforms. To keep things quick, I'm going to speed up the video so you can see the workflow in action. And then I'll show you the final results, both on the blog and across social media. While the automation is running in the background, let me quickly show you something important. The Schedule Trigger node. This is where you decide how often the automation should run. If you've got a new blog, I recommend running it just once per day. That gives Google time to crawl your content naturally without overwhelming it. But if your blog is already established and indexed well, you can safely bump that up to 2 or even 3 times per day for faster growth and more consistent traffic. It's totally up to you. Just set your preferred interval and let the content machine do its thing. I mentioned the automation takes 2 to 3 minutes, but after testing, it actually finishes in around 1.5 minutes. Keep in mind, there's a 30-second wait node built in for image generation. So overall, each blog post takes about 1 minute to complete. Now that the automation has finished running, let me show you the end result. First, I'll head over to the blog. I'll give the page a quick refresh. And boom, here's the newly published article. You can see the images were generated and added automatically, and they're already linked to the URLs I entered earlier in Airtable. No manual uploads, no editing. It's all handled by the automation. Now let's check out the social media posts. I'll refresh the page, and as you can see, the posts are live. Instagram, here's the post. It's already published and includes the link we added. Just imagine the kind of traffic you can drive with this strategy. Fully automated content distribution at scale. X, formerly Twitter. The post is here too, but in this one, I chose not to include the link, just to show you that it works with or without one. Completely customizable. LinkedIn, the post is live on my personal profile and on my LinkedIn page as well. Here it is. I'll go ahead and delete this one just to keep the feed clean. Facebook page, post is here too. And once again, the link to the blog article is included automatically. Threads, let me refresh, and yep, it's here. I'll go ahead and delete this one as well. And finally, Pinterest. As you can see, the pin has been posted, and just like the others, I'll delete it for now. Now let me show you something really cool. Remember those columns in Airtable for SEO, like image title, alt text, caption, and description? Well, check this out. If I go to WordPress Media Library and click on one of the images that was just uploaded, you'll see that all the SEO fields are already filled in. The title, alt text, description, and even the caption. This means your blog isn't just getting content, it's getting fully optimized. Media-rich posts that follow best practices for Google and accessibility, without doing any of it manually. Now let me explain how this automation works, step by step. As you can see in the workflow, we have 2 ways to start the automation. First is by clicking Test Workflow manually. Second is using the Schedule Trigger node. Here, you can set how often you want the automation to run. If you're starting with a new blog, once per day is enough. If your blog is already established, you can run it 2 to 3 times a day for faster content publishing. The next step is the Airtable Search Records node. Here's what you need to set up. Select the correct Airtable base and table. Filter, only pull rows where status equals in progress. This way, the automation won't touch anything already published. Limit, set this to 1. You want to generate only 1 blog post per run to avoid looking spammy or overwhelming your audience. Next, I use the OpenAI node to get 10 related searches for the blog topic. Here, I send a message to the model asking for relevant search terms that support the main topic. Here's the prompt I use. Pause the video and copy it. This adds more SEO value to the post and enriches the content naturally. Now we move into the heart of the automation, the AI agent node. This is where the long-form content is generated. I'm using the OpenAI chat model. You can also use Claude if you prefer. It's important to choose a strong model if you're generating longer content, 1,000 plus words. Here's my blog prompt. Pause the video and copy it. This prompt includes the structure for blog title, blog content, meta description, SEO fields, excerpt. You can also add a table of contents or FAQs if you want more structure. Feel free to experiment. Right after the AI agent, I use the structured output parser node. This ensures that all the content is cleanly parsed and mapped back to fields I'll use later, like title, meta, excerpt, etc. Again, pause the video and copy the structure I use here. This makes sure all your generated content is ready to go. No formatting issues, no guessing. The next node is another Airtable node. Because I asked the AI agent to return everything in JSON format, it's super easy now to update all the Airtable columns with the generated data. You just map each field to the right column. Blog title, title, blog content, content, meta description, meta, and so on. This makes everything clean, fast, and super efficient. After that, I added a switch node. And this part is really important. It allows you to choose between Replicate or OpenAI as your featured image generator. Here's how it works. In Airtable, you set the image processor field to either Replicate or OpenAI. Based on that value, the switch node will route the workflow accordingly. So if it's set to Replicate, it will follow that branch. If it's OpenAI, it will follow the other one. This makes your automation flexible and modular. You can swap the generator anytime without changing the logic. Now I'll show you the Replicate branch, because the OpenAI setup is pretty much the same. No need to waste your time explaining it twice. The first node in this branch is OpenAI. Here, I message a model and ask it to generate a prompt specifically for the Replicate API. Pause the video and copy my exact prompt, or feel free to experiment and tweak it for your own use case. Very important. Make sure you ask ChatGPT not to include any strange characters like quotation marks, colons, or escape symbols. If it does, it might break the image generation in the next step, especially with JSON formatting. Next, I use an HTTP request node to send that prompt to the Replicate API. So far, I've been testing images using the Black Forest Labs Flux Schnell model, but in this demo, I'll switch to Flux Pro. It gives higher quality images. To make the switch, go to the Replicate website. Find the model you want. Click the icon to copy the API endpoint URL. Paste that value into your HTTP request node here. Here's what you need to set up inside the HTTP request node. Send headers. Enable this and add authorization. Bear your API key. Send body. Enable this as well. Inside the body, paste the JSON structure, exactly like I have it in the video. Again, pause the video and copy my JSON structure. After that, I add a wait node to give Replicate some time to generate the image. I set it to 30 seconds, but depending on your use case and the model you're using, you could try 20 or even 15. If you're unsure or running it at scale, just keep it at 30 seconds to be safe. The next node is another HTTP request, and this one is used to fetch the generated image from Replicate's servers. Here are my settings. Just make sure you include the correct URL from the previous step and set it to return the image path. Now that we have the URL to the generated image, we need to convert it to binary data inside N8N. This is required for the upcoming steps, especially for uploading it to WordPress or storing it in Google Drive. So, we'll use the node to download the image and make it usable within the workflow. Now that we've got the image from Replicate and converted it to binary data, I split the automation into two smaller branches. One uploads the image to Google Drive, the other one uploads it directly to WordPress. Let's start with the Google Drive side first. Before using this node, make sure you've already created a folder on Google Drive where all your featured images will be stored. Then in the Google Drive upload node, set the input data field to data. If you skip this part, it won't work. That's how N8N knows where the image data is coming from. Next, we use the Google Drive Share File node. This is where we change the permissions, because we want the image to be viewable by anyone. It's going to be shared later on social platforms or used as a thumbnail. Here's what to set. File ID. Use the ID from the upload step. Role. Reader. Type. Anyone, that's it. Now the image is accessible and ready for use. Now I drop in a set node, And this part is important if you want to send the image URL back to Airtable. Airtable expects image fields to be in an array format. So here I create a little JSON structure like this. Pause the video and copy my JSON exactly. This prepares the image data correctly so that in the next Airtable update, everything goes smooth. Now let's switch over to the second branch, the one that handles WordPress posting. This is where things really come together. Uploading the image to the media library, setting all the SEO metadata, and finally publishing the full blog post. The first node here is an HTTP request used to upload the image to your WordPress media library. Here's how to set it up. Method: POST URL. Use the WordPress blog URL stored in Airtable, and at the end, append this path: /wp-jason/wp/v2/media. So it will look like yourblog.com/wp-jason/wp/v2/media. Now for authentication, this is super important and might be new if you haven't used the API before. 1. Go to your WordPress admin. 2. Navigate to Users, Your Profile. 3. Scroll down until you see Application Passwords. Enter a name and click Add New Application Password. 5. WordPress will generate a new password. Copy that. In the HTTP node, use your WordPress username and paste the newly generated application password as the password field. Now let's finish this node setup. Send headers. Enable it. Set it exactly like I have it in the video. I already looked up the correct config online, so you don't waste time. Send body. Enable it as well. Set the body content type to N8 and binary file. Then set the input data field name to data. This will send the uploaded image directly to your WordPress media library. The next step is another HTTP request node, and this one is for setting the SEO details of the image. Unfortunately, WordPress doesn't provide a built-in N8N node for this, but with the API, it's super easy to handle. Pause the video and copy my JSON body exactly. I show you all the fields on screen. As you can see, I'm setting title, alt text, caption, description, and I pull all of those values from the earlier AI agent output, completely automated and SEO optimized. Now it's time to create the actual WordPress blog post using the WordPress node in N8N. Super simple setup. Authentication. Select your previously created WordPress credentials. Resource. Set to post. Operation. Set to create. Here's how I fill in the fields. Title. Pull it from the Airtable value from the AI-generated title. Author ID. You can either select the author name or directly use the ID from Airtable. Content. I map this to the blog content value in Airtable. Status. Set this to publish. Category. In my case, I'm using uncategorized since it's a test blog, but you can set this based on your own categories from Airtable. Next, I want to set a custom excerpt. WordPress doesn't let you do this in the regular post creation node, so I'm using another HTTP request. Method. Post. URL. Use the same blog URL like before and append /wp-jason/wp/v2/posts/post ID. You can grab the post ID from the previous WordPress node. Authentication. Same as before. Username plus app. Password. Send body. Enable this and inside the body. Set the name to excerpt. Set the value to the excerpt. Text from Airtable, from the AI output. Now I want to assign the featured image to the blog post. This is done using another HTTP request node. Same URL pattern as before. /wp-jason/wp/v 2/posts/post ID. Send body should include featured media as the key. And for the value, take the media ID from the upload step. From the left side under the schema, drag and drop it in. Done. This connects the featured image to your blog post. Now the final step in this branch, updating the Airtable row with all the new info. Select the correct base and table. Use the record ID from the very first node, Airtable search. Update the following fields: Final URL. Get it from the WordPress post node. You'll need this later for social posting. Set blog posted to yes. Set status to published. This way, the automation will skip this row in the future and move on to the next. Now, let me say a few quick words about the second image branch, the one using OpenAI. If you prefer to generate your featured images with OpenAI, you just need to go to Airtable and select OpenAI in the image processor field. That's it. The rest of the steps, prompt creation, image generation, uploading, setting SEO, etc., are exactly the same as the replicate branch, so I won't go through them again here. Both the replicate and OpenAI branches come together in a merge node. I set the number of inputs to 4. This ensures that everything is properly synced before we continue. Then I added an Airtable search records node to fetch the latest published post. Settings here are simple. Limit 1. This pulls the most recently published post, which we'll now use for social media posting. Now for the rest of the automation, the part that posts your content across Instagram, X, LinkedIn, Facebook, Threads, and Pinterest. I've already explained this in full detail in my previous tutorial. So if you haven't seen that one yet, make sure to check it out on the channel. How to post using Blotato API, which is, honestly, the only solution I know that works great with N8N for cross-platform publishing. You'll find the link to create a Blotato account in the description below. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and found it useful. If you want to download this entire workflow, along with the ready-made Airtable base, you'll find it inside my Skool community. Just import the flow, connect your accounts, and you can start automating your blog content right away. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have questions, and don't forget to subscribe for more tutorials like this one. Thanks for watching.